Hi everybody, and welcome back to Robin's Recipes. Today I am going to make a sweet potato cake. I had a nice little gentleman bring me a lot of sweet potatoes, and so I've never had a sweet potato pound cake before, so I'm going to attempt to make one today. I've looked up all kinds of recipes, so let's get started. Alright, the first thing we're going to do, all this stuff is at room temperature now. I'm going to put in a half a cup of butter, and this is unsalted. And don't worry, all the recipe, all the ingredients will be in the description. Alright, so we're going to put in a half a cup of butter, and we're going to put in 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese. Alright, and we're going to blend all that together. This is a new little lightweight mixer, y'all, I'm trying out, and it might get away from me. Alright, we're just going to blend that, get that creamed. Now, to that, let me get my spatula out. Let me scrape down the sides here. And that big hunk in there. Yeah, this is a little lightweight. My other one was so heavy, I wanted to try out this little lightweight mixer and see if it does better. So today is its audition day. Alright. I'm sorry about the noise. To that, we're going to add 1 1/2 cups of brown sugar and 1 1/2 cups of white sugar. Keep in mind this is a pound cake, so it's a big cake. I'm going to stop this again. I'll put my sugars in. 1 1/2 of brown and 1 1/2 cups of white. Needless to say, this isn't a diet cake. Tell you, let me get this blended up, y'all, and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I got the sugar and the butter and the cream cheese creamed all up. Now I'm going to add 4 room temperature eggs, one at a time. I'm sorry this is so loud. You know, I always put my eggs into a bowl first to make sure that there's nothing in them that I don't like. Alright. They all look good. Okay, and now the last wet ingredients I'm going to put in is 2 1/2 cups of sweet potatoes. Now, I roasted my sweet potatoes before I put them in a food processor and blended them. See what they look like? So 2 1/2 cups of that go into your wet mix. All right, and we're going to let this go. We'll get that blended up and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got all my wet ingredients creamed and mixed together. Now, let me talk to you about my dry ingredients. The recipe calls for 3 cups of cake flour. Well, I didn't have any cake flour, but you can easily make cake flour by... Okay, and we'll try again. I'm going to tell you about my dry ingredients. It says for 3 cups of cake flour, but I didn't have any cake flour. But you can make cake flour by taking 1 cup of all-purpose flour and then taking 2 tablespoons out of it and replacing it with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. That supposedly lightens up your batter, gives you a lighter cake. I don't know, never done it, but that's what I did, okay? So here is my 3 cups of cake flour. Now to that, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon, and I've got 1 teaspoon of allspice. I kind of tweaked the spices from the recipe that I got to the spices that I like, okay? And then the last 2, I got 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg and 1/2 teaspoon of cloves. All right, and final thing, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. All right. My videographer's telling me, lower the ingredients, lower the ingredients. I thought I was the boss of this organization. I thought I bossed him around. I didn't think he bossed me around, but he's on the other side of the camera, so. All right, now I'm going to gradually add this, all my dry ingredients, to the cake mix. I mean, to the wet ingredients, okay? Let me get me a spoon. Well, I guess I can use my spatula. All right. I'm just going to put this in here a little bit at a time. Oh. I think my new lightweight mixer is going to be a fail. Things are too close quarters. But you got to try things, right? That's just with anything in life. If you don't try it, you don't know. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it doesn't work out so good. Here's all my dry ingredients. It's mixing up, and I have to add 1 tablespoon, not teaspoon, tablespoon of vanilla. Hold on a minute, y'all. I gotta get this off the top of this beater here. Get that in the mix. Let me get my tablespoon for my vanilla. And this will be ready to go in the oven. 350. I'm going to set my timer at an hour, and I'm going to start checking it. Might take a little longer. Alright, I think we got it, y'all. I'm going to call that done. Now, I've got a neat little pan to put this in. It's a bundt pan, but it's a square pan. Have you all ever seen a square bundt pan? I've seen them, but not very often. Of course, I got this at a yard sale. But I made the boo-boo of, you know, I bring all my stuff home and clean it up and everything. And I put it in the dishwasher. Well, old aluminum doesn't like the dishwasher. I can work on it to get it shiny back, but I haven't done it yet. All right, so let me get this. Yeah, see, this is a problem too. Let me get this off, y'all. I'll be right back. All right, y'all. Here's my square pan. And see, I got a piece of parchment paper. I cut that and put that down in there. Okay. So now, let's pour this batter in. Looks like a really good batter. Let me get it all out of here. This will be a couple bites for somebody. More than a couple bites. This will be a piece. Now, as if this cake didn't have enough sugar in it, I'm going to make a praline topping for that, but I'm going to have to wait till the cake cools before I put that on there. So I'm going to put this in and let it bake, and then I'll bring y'all back. Just going to do this, try to get it all even in here. See how my square pan turns out. Okay, y'all. I'm going to put it in the oven, 350 for an hour, and I'll be back. All right, y'all. It's out of the oven. Here it is. How does that look? It fell out that pan. I greased that thing good. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this over here because I'm going to make my pecan praline to go on top of this. Probably doesn't need it, but anyway, we're going to try it. Okay, now, first thing, look, I got me a little hot plate. Got it for my birthday from my friend Susan. Thank you, Susan. All right, we're going to put that butter in there. Oh, I need to get something to stir it with. Here we go. And we're going to get that melting. And along with that, 1 1/4 cup of light brown sugar. We're going to put that in there. And we're going to get that and get this sugar melting here. This is going to go over the top of that cake. I'm going to have to find somebody to gift this cake to. At least half of it. I got somebody in mind. All right, so can see this is melting. My hot plate here seems to be doing really good. All right. Then I'm going to add the pecans. I'm going to let this melt just a little bit more yet. Turn it up just a smidge. We got to get this sugar melted. We want like a glaze. So we got to let that go just a minute. I don't think it's going to take long. Let me get this melted and I'll be right back. Okay. This is almost coming to a boil, so this is going to be good. Now I'm going to put in the rest of my stuff. I'm going to put in 1/4 cup of these caramel chips. I'm going to put in 1/4 cup of maple syrup. Ooh. Doing it with the wrong hand here. Getting those melted. And then it's going to bubble up here when I put this in here. This is 1/4 cup of cream. Heavy whipping cream. Call for about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Putting that in. And lastly, I'm going to put my nuts in. And this is going to be our glaze, or our, they call it a praline sauce that goes over the top of this cake. Alright, I think this is just about done. I'm going to let it stay on here for just a minute, see if it thickens up a little bit. And then I'm going to pour it on my cake. Okay? Let me get this done and get my cake back over here, and I'll come back and we'll icing it together. Okay? Alright, y'all, I just wanted to show you this. See, I'm letting this boil for a minute. And now I'm going to cut it off. I don't want it to get hard, you know, like candy or anything on my cake. I just want it to be good and runny. And I want that flour, the sugar, not granulate. So I think it's good now. Alright, so I'll bring you right back when I get the cake over here. And we'll put the glaze on it. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, y'all ready? Here we go. Ooh. That almost looks like too much for it, doesn't it? I think it is. How does that look? Go along the edges, I guess. This would adorn anybody's holiday table. How does that look, y'all? We're going to let it cool a minute, and then we're going to have us a little piece. A little piece. Boy, that really, really looks good. All right, I'll see y'all back in a minute for a slice. All right, y'all, I can't wait. My hubby, he can't wait either. So, I'm going to cut the cake. And we're going to share a small piece. Boy, this looks good. All that middle ran out. Look. All right. How does it look? Does that look good? Of course, you know some of this belongs to me. Let's see if the sweet potato did its thing. Y'all. This is delicious. The cake is moist. Look how soft the cake is. Wait a minute. Wish you could see it. It is so good. I think this is one of the best tasting things I've ever tasted. This is delicious. Y'all make this. Put this on your holiday table. This is absolutely worth every step of the way. I just can't stop eating it. I know my hubby wants a bite. He's behind the camera waiting his turn. That is delicious. Okay, y'all. Thank you again for supporting me, for subscribing, for spending your time with me and watching my videos. I so love doing this. And now that I've hired a videographer, it makes it better for me. He makes it easy. All right. Hold on. What are you saying to me?
Hit the 2 or the square?
The square. Thank you so much, y'all, and I'll see you next time on Robin's Recipes. Bye-bye.